Hello, gamers. How's it going? Welcome in. How's everybody doing? Welcome in, Oshik. What's going on, everybody? Astro. Yeah, we are going to be working more on deadlift today. There's definitely some big gameplay tweaks and changes I want to do. I did make some drastic changes, so I'll have to show you guys what I mean. Because yeah, there's definitely gameplay issues with the game right now, to be expected, and it's not a surprise or anything. I knew that was the part that we need to work on. So we're gonna really be locking in on that in these upcoming days. I think also I'd love to work on like a tutorial, not like a super heavy, long, complicated tutorial, but at least just explaining a couple keyboard binds and stuff at the beginning. And also kind of, I guess, explaining to the player why they're here. I think that's another kind of issue with the game right now, is like there's no goals that are understood or any motivations. So it's kind of like that needs to be changed. So hey bro, welcome in. How's it going? But yeah, let's go to this view. So big changes around here. First off, the plate and cup holder are gone. So you don't have to place your food down anymore. I'll boot up the game and explain that mechanic. Also, you might notice rover and tablet is gone. It'll come back one day in a different form, but to be honest, I think it's just been... I just don't think they're going to work out in their current state. And the reason why is because, like, the way to balance rovers versus on-foot gameplay, it's kind of always a lose-lose, right? So your first option is like, okay, rovers are not, like, you could make the entities way more dangerous and make it really difficult to walk in the maze without the rovers, but I don't know if that really solves the problem. I think it just kind of... why would we purposely shoot one part of the game in the foot? You know? So I just don't think that's the right play. The other option is to, like... I don't know. What even is the other option? We could completely, like, change the whole game so that it's more rover-focused. You know, or maybe you can't even leave your elevator. But then we're locking out a whole aspect of the game that I think is going to be really important. So it's just kind of at a spot where they are now. I don't think they're going to work. But they're not gone. They will return. Instead, what I'd like to do with rovers is make them more of like a consumable item. So you can craft like a tablet that comes with, you know, maybe a certain number of charges for rovers. You can drop a rover down and it's just like a consumable item, so you don't have to worry about retrieving the rover. I think it makes it much more convenient for scouting because it's just going to be a little quick, convenient thing instead of having to like return to your elevator every time and stuff. What that's going to allow is you can also drive the rovers from any spot in the maze too. So that's going to be what we're going to do instead, I think. It's just going to make them make way more sense. I'm probably going to shrink them down to be way smaller than they used to be because... then it opens us up for some more interesting gameplay things. I think I mentioned in the Discord server, but I'd like to do... I want rovers to be able to do something that the player can't, right? Because otherwise, why even have rovers in the game? So what they're going to do instead, I think, is be able to traverse through, like, openings. Also, thank you very much. We'll see. Have to wait for Twitch to actually send the notification. It's weird that the API, it gets it way before anything else. Yeah, anyways. Hopefully that helps explain why. Hey, Raymus, thank you so much. Sub with Prime. I really appreciate it. 8 months, that's crazy. Thank you very much for that. That's awesome. Yeah, welcome in. Hope you're doing good. We're just talking about deadlift, some gameplay changes I'm making. The other thing, too, is that it's very unintuitive to drive the rovers around. Like, a lot of people would pick up the rover, just walk through the maze with the rover. It's hard to explain to the player you drop the rover and then stay in the elevator. So I think it's just better this way. I'm going to make them feel... They're going to feel better to use, I think, because then they're actually like a strategic resource, right? You get to choose when to place the rover down, and it could be anywhere you want. You don't have to worry about retrieval. So the scouting aspect becomes much more important. So yeah. But it only shows my sub info once I press the share button. Ah, okay, I see. That's why it doesn't do that. Interesting. And then, yeah, we made a big change to the food consumption. I want to show that off, because that's a big thing, too. Actually, sub your first animation pops up. Ah, okay, yeah, I see. You just have to press another button in chat. Okay. Didn't realize that. And now also, one nice thing is, since we don't have rovers in here anymore, the elevator now fully loses power. I'll show you guys. So let's descend. You can see there's no more light switch. The collider's still there. I gotta stop that. But you won't be able to control your lights anymore, because now, when you arrive, no power. So now it kind of prompts you. It's easier to understand, oh yeah, I'm out of power. I must restore the power. So I really want to focus on stuff like that, like just helping the player understand, you know, what they're supposed to be doing. I think is really important. Also, I'm messing with some new decals. We'll mess with those more later. That's supposed to be for a new region. One thing to make trading more worth, trade for healing items. Yeah. We definitely need to do that. I don't think we have any healing in the game yet, now that I think about it. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. That's like a... We want to have a whole NPC that's just focused on trading healing items. So I'll probably be adding those in very soon, because I think they're going to be important. So let me put that in here. Add healing items. So anyways, food consumption. Let me show you guys how that works now. Also, Ares is much more dangerous now. He does like a huge, big... Like, you can't really avoid him very easily now, so that's good. I'm in debug mode, so he can't actually damage me right now, but yeah. I'm just looking for the breaker. To enable debug mode, you can just press F3. These changes, where I'm like super fast and stuff, aren't in the game yet. I still have to put an update up for that. But I just want to make a couple more changes before we do that, so I can get like another wave of feedback. So I can just hold it and not instantly travel. But now these guys have dialogue, so hopefully it should be more obvious what he wants. Could really use some wood scrap thrown my way. I think that'll help. Here, let's turn off the sound because I'm going insane. Alright, so let's go ahead and give some blueberries and give some water and give some energy drinks and give some nut butter. So we've got all these items, right? Also other changes, I don't know if this is in the game yet or not. I also removed the storage rack because I just think it's stupid to force the player to have to put items on the storage rack. I think that's already in the game, isn't it? I can't remember. It's in the game? Okay. But yeah, the storage rack was dumb. Yeah, I'm gonna add some stuff in here, hence the reason I haven't changed the collider yet. I'm probably gonna add like a trash can so you can delete items if you don't want them anymore. Just to organize better. Alright, so we can end the day, we can sleep. Now you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to eat and drink? I don't know. Well, watch this. Whoosh. So now it prompts you to choose what you can eat. And I think this is just much more intuitive. Instead of just blindly hoping that the player figures out what item they're supposed to put down and stuff, now it actually shows, you know, a menu. You can scan around the elevator and choose what you want to eat. So I can choose to skip for the day, or I could consume food if I want. So let's eat the blueberries, and then it asks me what I want to drink. So I could have the energy drink or the water. We'll take the water. And then I go to sleep. So it's just much better that way, I think. I want to eliminate obscure mechanics like the plate and cup holder, because I just think it's not very intuitive. You know? The more stuff like that I can do to make things feel more intuitive, the better. I know it does kind of go against the rule or whatever of doing everything non-diegetic, but it's fine. Because I think what's important is non-diegetic stuff is cool, minimal UI is fine, but it can be really really difficult to know, like, what's going on, right? I think something like that works better in a game that's less focused on this kind of gameplay. Like something, for example, like we played recently, Routine. I think it works okay in Routine because, like, that game's definitely a different vibe. So, yeah, we're going to be making a change to that with the other shelf. Don't worry about that. But anyways. He's gonna get me. Oh, he did clip the door. What a fool. Oh, now he's just stuck at the door. Okay, I guess he can still get stuck at the door. Oh, he got out. It's okay. Yeah, the mug cake is a drink. This is another thing that we can also benefit from now with this system. Oh. Sir? I am stuck. Is that when we're in that screen, right? We can now give the player a little bit more information about different items. So we can show, like, I don't know why I didn't show the name on this one. That's a little weird. Might have to fix that. But it'll let us be like, okay, this is peanut butter, it is food, and some other stats we can display in this screen, right? So you do have the option still of skipping to eat and drink. And in doing so, you get hungry and thirsty. Also, another big thing that I would like to do, which I think it's going to definitely be the play, is multiple hotbar slots. Because right now, as it stands, I think it's really annoying to be only to carry one thing. And since now that rovers aren't like a huge part of the game, I mean, they will come later, but I want to do more like consumable stuff, like tools and gizmos that you can actually hold. So I think making that change, we're definitely going to need more hotbar space. So it gives you a choice, right? You can bring your gizmos and gadgets in with you, or you can leave them purposely empty so that you can carry more items. Picking up multiple items, just running, throwing them down as I go down the hall, yeah. But I think that's annoying to have to do that, so why not just, you know, let people carry more stuff? I've already implemented one system like that before in a different undisclosed project, so... Nah, I'm thinking definitely not a full slot. Like, I think we're going to start with 3 slots, maybe 4. But we probably wouldn't go much higher than that. But I think the slot amount will probably change given what character you play as at the beginning of the game. We still haven't implemented characters yet, but I think it would be cool. Just another way that we can change up the gameplay a little bit more. So anyways, I guess we can start working on that. I thought I already consumed this stuff. I skipped it both times last time. So yeah, we'll leave my rovers where food and breakers are then. Yeah. When I go there, I carry the food back and put it in the rover, then drive it back with the food when I get back. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just too annoying. Being only being able to carry one item. It's not fair. I gotta fix that. What? Why are there 3 breakers in the same spot, brother? Okay, that needs to be fixed. I think I just got the most insane luck of all time. I don't know what happened. Or unluck, depending on your definition. Yeah, I need to fix that bug too. I don't know why it's happening, because I thought that I implemented some systems against that, but it doesn't seem to work. Because there can still be a couple cases where furniture spawns inside of each other. I believe. Actually, I might have fixed that one. I think that had to do with something of like previous furniture wasn't getting destroyed, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen anymore. But the thing I do need to fix, I just need to make that same change to the breakers. It's really easy. Yeah, because I don't see any furniture glitches. Actually, it still might happen. I don't know. Has anybody seen furniture, like a chair inside of a table, since the most recent update? I'm not sure. Okay. Then we're probably okay there. Let's go make that change really quick with the breakers. Because why not? And here, let's just go to generate decorations, because I do the same thing in here. I just have a list of visited. Okay, pretty easy. I just say if not visited. Yeah, right here. So we're just going to copy this code. Go back to generate breakers. So we have visited now. And then setting our breaker count. So now down here, found walls not equal to null. Okay. So if visited already has the position, we just continue and stop. Otherwise, we add that position back to visited. So that should fix breakers spawning inside of each other. Fix an issue where... Alright. So, what do we want to work on next? We have a lot of different avenues to go down. We could set up recipes. But I think the thing, before we can set up recipes, we need a... we're probably going to need to actually create the items we can craft, right? So we'll wait on that. I haven't left my feedback on the forum yet. One thing I think is the core idea of running around desolate hallways trying to find a thing might be boring and repetitive. That's fair. I mean, I think a big part of this game being fun is going to be a lot of variety in terms of like the environments and entities you do encounter. So hopefully it won't feel very repetitive. I have been also considering, since rovers aren't going to work in quite the same way, it does kind of open us up for some opportunities. Right now the maze is just a grid and it's just a bunch of corridors, right? But does it have to be? You know? I'm thinking maybe we could potentially just make larger rooms and stuff spawn now. We could also do possibly multiple floors. Like we could have a above and below kind of vibe. Although I guess we don't really need to do that since you're going down an elevator, so it kind of makes sense. But get height in rooms like Leave the Company. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think what would help a lot is just having more shape variety in the rooms that we have here. Yeah. I don't know if we'll do full-fledged basement and second floor kind of things. I mean, it's neat, but it might be tricky. We'll have to see. Because what's nice about how this works now is like everything has a cell coordinate. I mean, we can do 3-dimensional cell coordinates, but I'll have to change some stuff in the game. since we kind of use like a 2D grid map right now for representing these positions. But definitely we could do larger rooms though. We could like have some corridors broken up by a big, large area that branches off into more corridors. It will require me though to model a bunch of stuff, which is not ideal. I think we're gonna have to make a change to the way that we do the mesh library because I'm a little tired of it as it is now. I think what we'll probably do is just, because I don't want to have to keep creating 50 variants of the same model, when really the only true difference is just the fact that we're changing the texture. So there's probably some way that I could automate that a little bit easier, right? Make it so that we can do, like, I can just model the base corridors and then automatically swap out the textures. Because if we do larger rooms, it's going to require a lot of new shapes. Because we're going to need to do corners and then the middle pieces and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a lot of work, but I think it would be cool. It does open us up for some more interesting environments. Because we don't have to worry about how rover traversal kind of works now. I want to completely change the way they're set up. Because right now, rovers work on a grid, you know? You, move grid by grid. It's okay. But I think I'd like to change the system a little bit so it's more of like driving an RC car. So... but yeah, was to say that it only moves down one floor at a time. Yeah, it's true. We could. I'll just have to think about it if it's worth the complexity of implementing, right? That's really the one constraint for that. So, but yeah. Another thing is lore. Yeah, more stuff, journals or something. I do want to do some like lore notes. Yeah, you have missing posters above, maybe even find the person. It's actually a skinwalker. Yeah, that'd be crazy. It would be cool. So the other thing that I want to get working on is crafting recipes. And that's going to involve this note system. I want to make this corkboard actually work. What I'll probably do is at the beginning of a run or a new game, I give people a couple of like initial base recipes just to give people something that they can start crafting and messing with. But then if you want to find more advanced recipes, you actually have to find them. Obviously you don't need them. Like you could just potentially throw the stuff in and get lucky. But I think it'd be cool though. I don't know if I brought this up before, but I want the corkboard to be persistent. So let's say that you find a bunch of recipes in the maze. You plop them down on the corkboard, they will now stay forever. If you close the game or start a new run, they're still going to be there. So the corkboard is like a constant, persistent thing in the world, which I think would be cool. You could even have a mode where instead of endless, it's story mode, and the final floor is the thing the guy was looking for. Yeah. I think we probably will do some story stuff eventually. Right now, I want to make sure the game is fun, gameplay-wise, but then once that's been worked on a little bit more, I think we could start looking into stuff like that. Because yeah, I do want some lore involved. Still have to think about exactly what the lore is. We do have a bunch of different sort of drafts we've done of some lore stuff before, but yeah. So let's go ahead and do... I'm going to focus on one thing at a time. I've been working on this overgrown zone, but something's wrong with the coordinates that I'm trying to get here, so I need to figure that out. Because only some rooms are getting decorations spawned in. I think it might have something to do with like our coordinate system. I'm not really sure. So let's go into there and check on this. And then maybe after we get that working, we can create the hotbar inventory. Let's see. Yeah, I can get rid of all this stuff now. I think. Yeah, that should be fine. Alexa, fan on. Okay, so let's go to our maze generation script. So inside of here, or really in generate debris, I've got this stuff set up here so that I can try and get the region ID of the vertex it's grabbing from this mesh. But it doesn't seem to be working. So obviously there's like something that I need to change. I think what it might have to do with is the fact that these coordinates are not correct. Because this is not offset by the position of our... I think what I need to say is plus global.world.gridmap.global position. And I'm hoping that that's going to fix things. But let's see how that changes everything in here. Are you going to restrict the roaming areas to only the bloody biome? Yeah. I definitely will be doing some stuff like that. I'm not sure if Ares will have be a biome-specific entity, but we have another idea for a different entity that's going to specifically hang around the meat zones, called the lion. So we'll definitely be implementing some of that at some point. Okay, this did properly generate, so that was the issue with that. So that was a pretty easy fix. I am noticing a tiny bit of lag. I can't tell what's causing it, so let's look at the profiler. I probably do have to finally implement some culling. It's pretty easy to, I think. So let's see what's going on in here. It is process time. There's nothing in there. Audio, physics. It's very interesting. I always hate when this happens, just like process time randomly is large and it doesn't really tell me why. Maybe I just need to go into... It's probably a visual profiling thing then. Yeah, it looks like it is. So I think it's because of all these new leaves that generate now. But I don't think that's going to be a big deal because we can just implement some occlusion culling. So this is render shadows. Okay. It's because all of these leaves, I believe, have shadows. So pretty easy fix. I can just go into the material and disable shadows. Disable receive shadows. Boom. Now watch the performance drop. Or improve, whatever. So that's all that was. No biggie. Yeah, these things don't need to cast shadows, so... although cast shadows is back again. Render shadows. I probably need to exit out of the game, save the game, and then that'll work. Let's try that. This receives no shadows that would be cast onto it. I just don't want these things to cast shadows. It's weird though, I don't know what light source is casting shadows. Because the test light doesn't cast shadows. So that's kind of odd. Doesn't that feel like it? We'll see if this works. Hopefully it's just I need to save it and go back in. Nope, still the same performance issue. So that doesn't work. I don't think receiving shadows is the same as casting shadows. So I wonder why... I mean, it's not from this light. FPS less than 60, FPS equals 60. Yeah. Super easy fix. So that's Nucleus. Thank you for the follow. casting shadows, are we? I thought there was a way I could just stop it from doing that. You think it's in here. Sampling. Depth draw mode, depth test, shading. Well, I'm not sure what's going on there, but we could implement some occlusion culling. We do have that enabled. And this game is ripe for occlusion culling because it's corridors. So all right. So I think in order to do that, what we have to do is open up this scene. Corridors. And I believe that we have to say occluder, mesh plus occluder. And we just have to select all of these. Is there a keybind to close all tabs? Guess not. Can I just select multiple? Nope, we have to go one by one. Okay. That's okay. Yeah, I think this will have a really big impact on performance positively. I was meaning to do this before, I don't know, didn't do it yet. Boom, 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 and a boom. The import. And we'll probably have to go into the library source here. I do see one occluder instance here, but it's not attached to anything. Okay, it's attached to the overgrown curve. No, it's just attached to corridors. Occluder instance. That's a little weird. I thought it should have just done this for each. Let's see. I guess a child. Very strange. Not sure what's up with that, but let's go ahead and resave this. Oops, I have to say export. Mesh library. Okay, so if we go into world, I need to make sure that that other thing isn't showing up in here. Seems okay. Well, let's see if this has any impact to performance. I don't know if it's actually occluding, but it's hard to say. Okay. And I am clamping my FPS to 60, so that might be why I feel like it's slower than it actually is. Let me up that. So still no discernible difference for some reason. Which is quite strange. I mean, is it just coming from this light? These two? It must be from these lights then, I would assume. So if we go into corridor light, is this casting shadows? It is. If I turn that off, now the game runs super smooth. So I guess that's why it was so slow, is because these these spotlights casting from the lights above. Because it was probably casting that shadow even if they weren't like active, so that would make sense. But anyways, they don't really need shadows. I mean, maybe later someday I'll turn those back on, but it's okay for now. Okay, anyways, all these leaves are spawning around. What I want to do also is make them spawn on the walls and the ceiling. So we're going to work on that now. So right in here. So let's see, before I do any of this tool stuff, or index in range 0, 1, 2, 2. So now we can do this. Oops. Whoopsies. So I want to check, only do that if our region ID is actually what I think it is. So if region ID is not equal to overgrown, and index is greater than 0, then we say continue. Now we say from mesh at index. So I want to see what this does. Theoretically, this should now place these plants on the roof and on the walls. Although on the walls, they're going to have to be rotated properly, so I'm not sure about the walls yet. Maybe we'll just leave them off the walls, because I don't really want to have to do a bunch of rotations, but we'll see. Let's just load back in on debug mode. Okay. So it is spawning on the roof now, which is good. Yeah, the walls right now, it's just, they're the same, like, orientation as the floor. So let's change those to be rotated, I suppose. It's kind of tricky, though, because I don't know what the rotation is of the vertice that I'm grabbing. So I don't know if wall decals are really going to make a whole lot of sense. Because how would I do this? Yeah, it would be kind of a nightmare. Because I can choose the rotation, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know what the rotation should be. Because it matters on the rotation of the mesh they're inside of, which vertice they're on. Could I get the normal of a vertice, actually? Because that would solve all of our problems. Like right here when I say get vertex. Can I say get vertex normal? Oh. Well, this might work. So what is this going to return? That does return a vector 3. So honestly, maybe that could work. And then down here when we pass on all our data, we could throw this in here. Oops. So now we can say region ID is that, normal is that. Then final vert position. We have to change how points is now, so this is going to be a dictionary instead. So down here where we're accessing that, now we just say that region ID, and theoretically, I don't really know if this is going to work, because there's a lot of wacky things in here, but we can say If points at coordinate dot normal. We could just set it to that. I don't know what that's going to do, because I'm pretty sure normal is like a vector. It's not a rotation value. So this is just going to be all sorts of messed up, I'm sure. Yeah. But it's interesting. This place is very viney now. I think I would like to do some lotting on this mesh. I don't know if that's something I can do easily. I'm not really sure how to do that, actually. But it doesn't seem like they're doing that now. Can I, like, go into import properties and then... It is generating LEDs. So what is this? Enables generation of shadow meshes. Okay. How do I check where our LODs are set up? Occlusion culling. Mesh LOD. So I guess I can change this. This is rendering mesh LOD. Hold on, let's go into here for real. Okay, that's the only thing in here. Oh, LOD change threshold pixels. This is it. So what if we change this? What does this do? Higher values will use less detailed versions of meshes. Like, what if I just go crazy with it? I'm curious to see what happens. Well, so yeah, let's just not worry about doing wall vertices or walls for now. So I'll say if index is equal to 1, continue. Let's try this out. Okay. All right. That's pretty strong LOD. I think the LODs are a little bit too strong, guys. Okay. But we could just have like a and a radius around these plants, you know, which ones get disabled probably. So clearly don't set it to 1. Let's try like 10 instead. That'd probably be a little more reasonable. Well, so now I don't know why it's not showing the ceiling. Should be 0 is the floor. One is the wall. So maybe it wasn't doing the ceiling before. Let's do in range 3. Try this out. And then once we get this set up, we'll go work on the hopper. Just want to get this figured out. Oops, I forgot to do debug mode, so now it's going to take a billion years. There we go. So I'm happy with that. Seems to be running just fine. The leaves on the ceiling. We don't really need it on the walls, honestly. I think it might just be visually distracting having it on the walls because it's going to, like, take focus away from the actual furniture. So what does it look like in normal mode? It's not bad. And I want to have this section specifically to have some like cracks in the ceiling and stuff, right? Oh, you hurt me. Okay. Well, that works. So we should be able to now put that biome into different maps. So yeah. I do want to retexture it at some point. We could definitely do some of the texturing, just having like a plant texture pasted on top. Which would actually work pretty well. We could just find like filter forge, go to filters, find like leaves, and just look for something that's transparent like this, wall vines. This would work pretty good, probably. Looks a little alien-like, but really, I guess what we want more is vines. Inky vines. This is the one that I used for the other guy. Or I used to, I think, but it didn't look good, so I didn't use it anymore. That one's not terrible. Okay. We'll mess with that later. So let's lock in, guys. Let's do slots for the player. The photo I took, because it looked like Half-Life textures of vines in a tree. Oh, yeah. Canvas layer. I'm going to be moving this dialogue up. And I'm going to make some changes to the way the dialogue works. Let's go find where I reference dialogue. I'm now going to make that an export variable, probably, or at least in here. We'll do that. So bop. Plants have alien-like nature. That is true. They are pretty wacky guys. It's kind of wild to think about it. Like, plants are freaking everywhere. It's pretty insane. They really proliferated. I think what's so weird about them is how, like, how predictable they are, kind of. Like, plants are very simple creatures, right? Like, you can look at a tree and it's just, they're all the same. It's interesting. Same vibe, right? Where it's like a fractal. Big branch, smaller, even smaller branches, you know? And it's just that pattern over and over and over again. It's pretty weird. Especially like this tree looks kind of creepy. Looks like a tentacle monster. There is a certain horror aspect to plants, I feel like, for sure. I think it's also the fact that they're just like lifeless. I mean, obviously they're alive, but like they're just static. There's not like a little face that you can talk to, right? It's weird. The wise tree, yeah. He has a face. But trees are pretty epic, and I do like trees. And even though the idea of trees is weird, I like looking at trees. They're a pretty cool vibe. I wonder if anybody has a phobia of trees. I'm sure. Whoa, those are crazy. Those are weird. Evil tree of wisdom. It's called dendrophobia. Interesting. Fear of trees. Anyways. So, with this dialogue, now we have a static reference to it. I want to push the dialogue up a little more in the middle of the screen. Also, I believe I'm going to be making a change of the dialogue. Also, I want... let me think here. I think I want to make it so that the player dismisses the dialogue instead of it dismissing itself automatically. Right? I think that's what I want. Well, so let's get rid of this red zone. We'll just make that show up at beginning. Pizza Sim, yeah, dude. So speaking of like simulator idle game, I do have some things to show off for whatchamacallit. You know, lure it in. I've been working on a couple things there. Okay, so let's do I think it's a margin, no, it's a panel container is what I want. So I can do that. And then I'm gonna make it the same vibe as the UI. So if we go into the options menu, I want to copy this panel container. We have to delete all the stuff, but oh, it's just gonna do that. Okay, let's just make a panel container. Go copy the theme. Paste it. So now we got that guy. And for material, we're going to add the wobbly UI. Now it goes... Oops. Oops. Alright. See, visibility. So these are going to be our slots. Hotbar 1, hotbar 2, hotbar 3. We can add numbers to each of these. These have way too much margin. I guess that's just because of this. Let's make this unique. Yeah, let's set that to like 5. And then for theme overrides in here, paste those. Paste, paste. Let's actually just put a texture rect on here. Give this a minimum size of like 64 by 64 probably. And then we can just put the label on here, set alignment to right or left, doesn't really matter. I like it on the bottom right. Undo anchors, bottom right. And we don't need this to expand. I guess we don't have that ability. That's fine. So something like that. Now we're just going to duplicate these nodes. Two, 3. Look at that hotbar, guys. Incredible. So we're just going to now have another variable in here, which is our selected hotbar. Is 1 by default. Okay. Well, let's see. Do we want to do 1? That's fine. Now let's do it in terms of 0 to whatever. So now we go into process and we set up our keybinds for that. So that's new action. Hotbar 1. Hotbar 2. Hotbar 3. 1, 2, 3. If input.is action just press hotbar 1. If input.is action just press hotbar 2. If input.is action just press hotbar 3. And we're going to do this. So function set hotbar. Get rid of this stuff now. Got to add. Let's snooze that. Screw it. Let's just say for a hotbar index, set it to 1 by default, you know? It'll be fine. Or it doesn't even matter. But in ready event, we can say set hotbar 1. Alright, so now we got that. So what we're going to do in order to grab that is we're going to say this. Not start with 0. I know. But it just makes more sense, I feel like, to start with 1 for this specific case. I mean, I can make it start at 0, but it's fine. We don't need to. So, we could say get node. That. Like that. So var hotbar slot is that. And I think that we could potentially just go to transform and modify the scale. No, we cannot, apparently. It's because it's a child of a container. Which is quite unfortunate. But we could just up the minimum size. Like 96 or whatever. Then I want these other hotbar nodes to, what? Oh, that's because I'm like selecting multiple. Vertical will be on shrink end. Like so. So we should be able to just change these by setting their custom minimum sizes. Maybe we do like 80. Just so it's a little bit larger, like that. And I'll probably be tweaking that, but it's good enough for now. So back into here, we're going to say hotbar slot. Don't. Also, let's just change this to a type of panel container. Like set custom minimum size. Custom minimum size is vector 2. 80. Also here when we check, I need to check for the last one too. So we say last hotbar is that. And say current selected hotbar. So for that one, we're going to reset the custom minimum size back to 0. Oops. So that goes to 0. It's going to set the new selected hotbar. So that's good enough, right? I just want to make sure the visuals are all normal here. Continue on. Give me just a moment here. Yo. You see the pictures you took, Oshik? That's pretty awesome. Am I, like, allowed to use those, or what's going on? Wow, that is crazy. Is that on the tree? It's pretty insane. Yeah. Alright, so there's the hotbars. We can hit the numbers. It doesn't seem to be resetting the first one for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe it starts with 1 or something. It's pretty weird. So size should be 74 by 74. Let's also say last hotbar.size is equal to vector 2. 7474. That's so weird. Why is it taller than the other ones? I really don't know what's going on there. Snooze that ad. What is going on, brother? Got a Stack Overflow in Godot? You did, or me? I don't think I did. 74. Oh, really? Yeah, I've gotten that a couple times with Starground specifically, because like that happened a lot with the conveyor belts sometimes. That was actually a crash I had to fix, because what was happening was all the signals that get called, it like chains together. What is going on with the sizing? Look, if I hit the button twice, it like changes the shape to be in the corner. That is so wrong. What is going on? It shouldn't be possible. Yeah, that fixes that one. But still the last one that we select is still broken. I think what we actually do is set it to size.0. Nope, that doesn't work. Why is it larger than the other ones? It's like the verticality of it doesn't get reset. Which doesn't make any sense. Did the size of these reset or something? Those are still normal. It's so weird. I'm gonna try set custom minimum size. Maybe that changes the behavior somehow. I really doubt it. That's so weird. I don't know what's going on with that. It just stays large. What on earth is going on right here? I think it just got really unlucky. Oh, yeah. So, hey, yellow guy, thank you for the follow. What is the deal with that hotbar slot? It's just the vertical height of it is stuck forever. Doesn't make any sense. Is it because these are all set to fill or whatever, like on container sizing? Maybe that's what's happening, is that I just didn't set the other ones to shrink, or the first one to shrink end. Let me see. Okay. There we go. Now it's normal. Okay, so now we can select hotbar slots. Also make it so you can scroll through, probably. I don't think there's any other function of scrolling right now. I'll say scroll left. Does Deadlift take so long to load? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I have noticed that, though. It seems like sometimes it's abnormally long. So I gotta figure something out. Maybe I'm loading something that I shouldn't be, or I don't really know. I do have Uber shaders enabled. So I don't think it's shaders taking too long to load. Yeah, I don't really know. We'll have to look into that. So now here I'm going to say if input.is action just pressed, scroll left. Say set hotbar. Selected hotbar -1. Then I want to clamp it. Say 3012. No, clamp it to 1, maximum 3. And scroll right. This one's +1. Okay, so I should be able to scroll now. Let's see. So we got an ad going on in just a minute. My apologies, gamers. Now I can scroll. So the next step to getting the hotbar set up is just making it so it saves what item is stored in each slot. So if I pick up, let's just give myself some blueberries. If I pick that up, it needs to now show it in that first slot, like show the icon, and then if I scroll away, it should, you know, delete the item in my hand and, like, store it. So we're gonna try that out. So in set hotbar. So if we've changed it, I just want to do something in here. I'm going to say if hotbar index is not equal to our current index. Or if it is the same, then just return. So we'll set this to -1 at the beginning. And go back into here. So otherwise, we are definitely changing it. It's going to be a different index. So we can remember what the last one was. Also, do we have, like, held... We do have held item. So now let's go back to set hotbar. If held item... Let's see here. Then we're going to say held item.queueFree. And I also want to make sure that that gets stored in the current slot. So when we say, like, pick up item and stuff, it's going to pass in an item. So now up here, I also want to add on held item IDs. So go to pick up item. I want to say held item IDs at index. Hotbar is equal to item.item ID. We can also set the icon and stuff. So I want to grab this again. Selected hotbar. Now I'm going to say hotbar slot dot get node. I'll try and swap out these get node calls eventually, but those ads are over. Sorry about that. Texture is going to be equal to our item.id. So we save our item data. Yo. So much. Hold on, wait. Or should this be global dot? There's no get item data, so just get item.item ID. And this will be item data dot, I think I called it sprite. Let's take a look at this. Was that you, K-Mac? I don't see any notification, but I appreciate it. Yeah, now that I understand how it works, it makes more sense. Welcome in, K-Mac. How's it going? Oh, it's not happy. Oh, because it's a null value. We have to say if. Here, we just do this. Selected hotbar greater than or equal to 1. Then we do this. Yo, thank you for the spin. It's been lurking all the time. No. You said stuff. I'm just, I don't know. For gore. Yeah, you were mentioning how you like pick up items and throw. Now you're fine. Okay, so let's give myself some blueberries. Okay, so we can pick it up. It's not happy. It's not happy at all. Oh, I have to say for held item IDs. Let's just do 3 for now, but later on we'll make it customizable. Okay, I have to restart the game. Sending Uni an email because they mixed Berg with Berg. Oh, yeah? Do it up. Uh-oh. Come on. Come on. Let's go. So that shows the item in our slot. And then if we scroll to the next slot, boom, item goes away. So we're going to make it so when we scroll back to the slot, the item respawns, then is in our hand. So, shouldn't be too bad. So you have to say pick up item whenever we say set hotbar. So what we're going to do in here is say if held item ID is at index hotbar index, as long as it's not an empty string, then we go ahead and say pick up item, and we're going to say global.world.create item. I don't think this returns anything right now, but I would like this now to return the item reference. So now we can say create item, and that takes in item ID and position. So we do that, our position, and then we say that's var item, and we pick up the item. Watch this, guys. Your mind is about to be blown. All right. Give blueberries. Look at this. Boom. I pick it up. Okay. Next slot. Boom. Item is gone in my inventory. I go back to the slot. Boom. Item is pulled out of my inventory. Oh, went to a slot. That's bad. It's because there's no index 3. I have to say index -1. And then same with pickup item. I guess this is the reason you would do 0 index. Might be a good idea, actually. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Okay. So if it's greater than -1, that should all be fine. Go back to process. We're not going to clamp that to 0 to 2. Yeah, it'll probably just be better this way. Okay. Well, that's pretty much everything. I get rid of the -1 right there. All right, one last thing though is when I'm swapping away from here, I think I have to say if held item, drop item, held item. Like that. Expected at most 0. Oh, okay. I just do that. Because that'll like resettle my stuff here. Alright. I think we should be good though. Now, the last thing is when I say drop item. Oh yeah, I guess I don't really want to say drop item. But when I do that one for real, let's go into here. I need to do our hotbar stuff again. Same as pickup item, but just the inverse. So we put all this stuff in here. We say texture is equal to null. We say selected hotbar is equal to empty string. Like that. And then also in pickup item, I realized I did a funny error. Get rid of that now. Okay, so hopefully this should also now work when I drop an item. It should get removed from my bar down there. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's not happy. That's because the hotbar index stuff has changed. Just change this one to 0, 1, 2. Yeah, I do need to figure out why the game takes so long to load. I'm not really sure. I've tried profiling it before, and it doesn't really, like, tell me anything. So it's kind of, tricky. It might be because everything is using preload. So I might just have to do some more optimized ways of actually loading in scenes and stuff, you know? We'll see. So I pick up water, I drop it, you can see it gets removed from that slot. So I can pick up multiple things now. Take a look, guys. Yo, thank you for the spin. Yeah, so that works pretty well. So it just treats it as a normal picking up an item. 40p, we're so back. Still don't know why it's doing that. Gotta love Twitch. Totally. And it's not even intentional, but it does technically do like a little animation from it swooping up from the bottom. I don't think it's a OBS thing, because I mean, it's not, it's 1080p. I don't know why it would be locked to 480p for you. It's really weird. Because also the thing is too, some people don't have that issue, so I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, 480p, you ought to be locking to that. I have no idea. It's really annoying. Can I add an Easter egg in the outside layer? Thanks. Yeah, I do actually want to. That's something I've been thinking about doing. I want to decorate the upstairs, the outside zone a little bit at some point. What I want to do is make it so instead of just a random elevator outside, I want to make it where you actually like walk in, you know? Into like a little like facility, like top layer vibe. It's like just there's a door and stuff and like stuff in here. It was the ad block, really? That's so odd. So does Twitch? That actually sucks if that's what Twitch does. So if you have ad block installed for Twitch, it just locks your resolution to 480p. Is that literally what Twitch does? Because that's so stupid. Man. False. Okay. Maybe it's just that specific ad block then? But that seems very suspicious. I don't know. It's definitely strange. Yeah, it's probably just more beta rollouts. See, this is the other thing too. That's always really annoying, is these beta rollouts. Everybody has a different version of the platform. I'm giving these numbers and outlines, so if I'm holding something white, it's not impossible to read. And I might make these hotbars a little bit like the slots smaller, but I don't know. Use your ad block? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the one I use is the ad block ultimate. I've had a good experience with this one so far. It never throws stuff at me and says, hey, support us and pay us money. And it seems to work really well for... Oh, it's not the same? Okay. But, yeah. Seems to work really well, though, for most websites I go to. The only thing it doesn't block is Twitch. I think that's literally it. So when you recommended a while ago? Oh, like a long time ago? Like the Twitch ad block one? Was it this one? I don't think it was this one. That other one might be gone on Chrome now. I'm not sure. Was there a different one I recommended? There's sponsor block, which I do really like that one. Oh, stream cleaner. Yeah, I think that... Oops. Stream cleaner. I think that one stopped working for me. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore for me, unfortunately. Which is too bad. So I just disabled it. But that's great if it works for you. So... I was using one specifically for Twitch because others won't work. Yeah. Yeah, Twitch is weird with their ads. The normal ad blockers don't work. Yeah, well, that sucks. I definitely think that's something on Twitch's side then. They're probably detecting that you have an ad blocker and choosing to cap out your resolution, which is really dumb. I think that's kind of stupid. Twitch sucks, man. I hate Twitch. I wish there were better alternatives. I've said this many times, but Twitch is just such a terrible platform. Like, stuff like that is really dumb. It's just such like a petty thing. It's like, oh, you're gonna use ad block? Well, then we're gonna cap your resolution, make the stream unwatchable. It's just stupid, man. And also just the way that all the hoops I have to jump through too on my end. Like, I have zero control over what ads and stuff I run and how often, which always really sucks. Because, like, I don't want to have to run so many ads. I mean, it's not like our stream is extremely ad heavy or anything, but still, it's just annoying. I wish I could just be like, nah, I don't need the ad revenue. Just don't play ads, please. Right? So yeah, now I can bring multiple items back, which is actually kind of nice. NGL? Not gonna lie, kind of goated. It's not like they just over there straight up disable the video player. That's true. If YouTube focused a bit on live streaming, it would probably be better than Twitch. I definitely think YouTube has the potential. I mean, they've already got insane servers for video stuff, so they can handle streaming easily. Like, they already have it there. Like, all that YouTube really needs to do with their streaming stuff is just kind of iterate a little bit on it, improve it slightly. And I would probably prefer that then instead of Twitch. I just wish the big thing that's lacking from YouTube streaming, I think, is like viewer rewards and stuff like that are just very not realized. Right? I like all the cool features that Twitch does have, like being able to do raids and stuff like that is always really nice. It's good for building up communities and like also like kind of networking in a way. I can raid somebody else that's streaming in the same category, right? You can't really do that with YouTube, which kind of sucks. Because I would like to be able to, you know, see what other people are up to. Shouldn't this guy be... Oh, there he goes. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Okay, but anyways, hotbar stuff is working. Yeah, this is something I did want to do because it was always a little bit annoying how you could only bring one item. But we're gaming now. Two boys half speaks their stuff. They do, yeah. It's pretty annoying. It could be epic, but it's not. YouTube streaming sucks. The thing, though, that I do like about YouTube streams, which I definitely will give them that, is they don't delete your streams after you're done. So that's why I multicast to both Twitch and YouTube, because it's kind of like I use the YouTube channels like a kind of like a repository, right? For the old streams. So Switch livestream didn't take your channel. I don't honestly even know if that's the case anymore. That's another thing with YouTube, is their algorithm is so nebulous and changes constantly. That might have been true at one point, but I have no idea if that's the case anymore, to be honest. I'm not really sure. Maybe. But I don't know. I don't think it's really... I don't see why it would matter. Who knows, man? Maybe when I start doing devlogs for Deadlift, I'll, you know, try and figure that out. Maybe do a couple streams on purpose where I don't stream to YouTube for like a couple weeks or something and see what happens. Also, while simultaneously uploading devlogs, you know? Just run a little experiment. See, this is the thing. That's the only way you can figure out anything, is if you're just constantly experimenting and researching. I almost feel like bigger like channels and YouTubers and stuff, it's probably good for them just to have a second channel that they use purely for experimentation. I wonder if that is a reason why a lot of people do a second channel. Just to see what happens when you do things differently without impacting the main channel. No streaming only channel, I think it's fine, but if you do both videos and streams, probably tanks recommendations. It's hard to say though. I have really no idea. This is the thing, nobody, it's all just guessing. Nobody really knows if that's the case. It's insane that even YouTube works, like the employees at YouTube don't even know. I don't know. Because I definitely have heard, yeah, it's so fun. I love getting zero feedback on anything for the platform. It's awesome. I don't know. I think YouTube's methodology toward doing their algorithm is really stupid. Because, like, I guess their whole idea is that if they tell everybody how the algorithm works, everyone's just going to take advantage of it. But, like, why not just make the algorithm good? So that it doesn't matter if people know how it works, you know? I don't know. This is frustrating. Like, I feel like it should just be the basics. Like, obviously consistency is a good thing. Just the amount of interaction. Like, what they need to do is just have, just to sprinkle in a little bit of randomness, and that's it. So that smaller creators do have that, like, chance, you know, to get the spotlight. Because I feel like, at the end of the day, if you are a good channel that's entertaining and fun to watch, like, you will, if you have one video that pops off, then you're kind of set. But, I don't know. It just seems like the algorithm, YouTube's algorithm is so arbitrary. It's like, I don't know if it's actually good or not. I don't know, man. Oh, so there's like 70 billion videos uploaded a day. Yeah, everyone has like personalized feeds though, right? So like, it's not like YouTube would be like, this one video is shown to everybody on Earth. Like, I think it could just be like, okay, assign like a point, you know, to each video of like its chance of being recommended based off of like upload date and popularity and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe they are doing that, but it's stupid. Whatever they're doing now is so esoteric. We need to revert back to RSS feeds, yeah. Honestly. Ugh. They're all making their own websites, yeah, dude. That was the play. Like, a lot of channels did that for a little while. Where they would just re-upload stuff on their own website. But, I don't know. I partially get why that's not a thing, though, because it's expensive to store data. So, yeah, like College Humor, I think there's a bunch of people that did that. I don't like how this lamp is getting allotted, and then it's changing to shadows. You can see what I mean. I need to figure that out. Maybe my lot is too aggressive. Let's do like 3 pixels instead. So I don't need to say that anymore. Also, Shigas, can I add Starground push in my game? Yeah, you're totally welcome to. You are completely welcome to. Lord, forgive me. Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, feel free to. I don't really care if you guys want to add the plush. I think it's fun to have a little, like, you know, reference. So yeah. Oh, that's the text. That's what I was changing. So I want to change this shader back here. I know that this is taking into account the modulate right here. Changing that, though, doesn't do anything. So... I think I have to change the actual color, so I don't know if that's gonna work. I mean, this one has color, so I could just brighten this one up. I want to make it so that if you're selecting a specific slot, it changes, like it makes it a little brighter. So I think I could make it work. Let's just go into set hotbar, and then say last hotbar dot modulate self modulate dot a. It's equal to whatever. And then this also lets me kind of control, you know, modulation. I guess let's do that at what it was. Okay, so this is... I just copy this and say color. Yeah. I love that Godot lets me do this now. In IRL Starground plushie, that would be awesome. I always thought it'd be really cool to do like a makeshift Starground plush thing, but I know that the game is nowhere near popular enough for it to succeed, so it's kind of unfortunate. But maybe one day, when the Starground movie comes out. So now this can be hotbar slot. Self-modulate. I could actually set the alpha transparency on this to just be a little bit lower now too. Like instead of 89, we could set this down to like 50. And then on this one, I'd actually prefer to make it a little bit more. That's full. I don't remember what like the first... Is it AA? Sure, let's do AA. Star and ground. Dude. And just make it brighter. I can just do it in here now. I don't know about what area I want. Let's try that. See what it looks like. Then next thing we could probably start beginning to work on is crafting. There we go. So now it just highlights the slot a little bit, showing you which one's actually selected, which I think is good. It also makes it a little more opaque. Okay. I think that'll work for now. We can always customize that more later. And I could possibly change regular modulate too, and that would change the alpha transparency of all of it. It would probably help make it feel a little less like in the way. Right, so I could do like half there. Just keep that one at AA also. Then over here, I set that one up to a full 1.0. Let's see what that looks like. That's what that looks like. Kind of a vibe. Because now if I give myself an item, it's not going to be quite as distracting down there at the bottom when it's not selected. So yeah, I think that works. And now also the dialogue is going to be above the hotbar, which I think is better. It'll be a little more readable and obvious. Yeah, also something that Graham was suggesting, which I do agree with, is instead of the text automatically disappearing, do a prompt instead. So that you can have plenty of time to read the text and then dismiss it when you're ready. Which is a good idea. I think we should do that. So I can add, I think F would be a good dismissal key, since it's not used for anything else right now. Guy played by Brad Pitt. Richard played by Aaron Paul. That'd be awesome, dude. Be insane. Dismiss dialogue. Say F. So now, when we're talking, think about how I want to format this, because I need to have the icon visible somewhere. Sandy playing by Aquafina. Oh, man. That'd be crazy. We already got our cast picked up. I think we've got to bring this to the higher ups, get it in motion, you know? Okay. Let's see here. So that's all done. It'll be crazy if we just decided to make our own Starground movie for fun. Should have a Starground reference and Sans V the prequel. Do need to work on that eventually. Max actually came to me recently with an idea for that, which I was like, whoa. Maybe. Well, I think it was an idea, I guess, for a whole new entry, not V the prequel, necessarily. But yeah. My brain is not braining. Yeah, we can talk about that like after stream or something if you want. Yeah, it wasn't really much of a pitch. It was just like, hey, what if we did this? And I was like, that'd be cool. That's all that went. So he would need to come and call and actually talk about it. I know like a 4-word summary. So. Okay. Crafting. I would like to work on, or no, I remember what I was doing. Brain is so stupid right now, guys. For our dialogue, let's do the prompt to close. So I'm just gonna do a label, and I think it's just gonna sit above the dialogue. And this is just gonna say, maybe we'll do that. For now. For Sans V video, that's equivalent to a full pitch document. Very true. Alright, so now let's go into the speak function. Finally, I found it. Yes, after all these years of searching. I don't know if you guys knew, but the main player is actually 95 years old. Yeah. So we're just gonna lerp it up to being visible now. So we get rid of these 2 lines. And we're just gonna check if we hit this thing, we say set modulate to 0. And then also make that go invisible. And just so people don't accidentally do it, I'm only going to let them close the dialogue once our dialogue.modulate.a is greater than or equal to 1. Then if that, yeah, we just say close dialogue is not visible. And then dialogue.modulate.a is back to 0. So let's try that out. Now it should stay there until I actually dismiss it. Keep accidentally turning on my mic. Whoa, NVIDIA broadcast. Hi. You guys can see the true camera angle. I have it flipped in OBS. Nobody knows. Well, I've said it multiple times, so you probably know. So now I can close it like that. Which I might make it fade. Do this. Which I don't know if I can just do that. We'll see what happens. I think I might have to create a new tween. I'm not sure. Let's try it. Yeah. Because since the tween is already finished. Yeah, finished or created, so it's not actually going to work. So we say if dialog tween. Dialog tween is create tween. And then I just tween property down to 0. And I'll actually just do, yeah, modulate A. Instead of setting visibility on the closed dialog thing, I'll just make that appear with the thing. Like that. I don't know why the text isn't visible. Oh. Is the modulator something weird? What is going on? There's nothing in visibility here. No. How come I can't see it? It's just invisible. That's very strange. Let's see. And on the floor drop. Let's go. It's okay that I had AI refactor a bit of code to use enums instead of strings. I think it's mostly just make sure you know what it's doing, right? The problem I always think with it is like when people expect to create an entire project from just AI, because you're gonna eventually run into a roadblock, right? But if you know what it's doing and you can verify what it's doing is fine, then that's the best way to use it, I would say, is like as a tool, right? So yeah. So that's why it runs for 5 seconds. He's a breathe for 3. Yeah. Yeah, I think I do kind of want to change the running sprinting stuff. I do want to also add a meter on screen for our stamina, I think. See, I had magic strings. Still haven't got around to changing to enums. Oh yeah. What is magic strings? Input a programmer believes will never come externally. Oh, okay. Yeah, just you have to change it all by hand. I totally feel that. Yeah, enums are definitely good for that case. Favorite type of apple? Well, I gotta go with the classic. Cosmic Crisp. It's the best apple, guys. Okay. Now I can see the text. What? What on earth is going on? It's quite peculiar. I do not understand. It's fine. I don't care. We can just do this and then center it around a node. Sets position to 0. And we're good to go. Let's just do a center so I can get it aligned. Then go back to position. Okay. Set to that, divided by 2. Now you have to redo it. Go, let's just set a minimum size of 200 so that I know it has to be at minus 100. I don't know why it's not centered though. Oh, it's because the size of this is quirky. Let's try that again. So now we have this. We can set our position. Oh, that's what's happening here. For some reason, I'm getting... What? It's clipping its children. What is going on? Why is it doing that? It doesn't happen there. That is so weird. I didn't know that a rich text label clips its children like that. So, what do I do to fix that? Let me look it up. It says something about here in clipping. Clipping behavior is when visible characters visible ratio is set. So I think it has something to do with setting, we go into here. Tab size. Text selection, displayed text. So that's not it. What? I mean, I don't have anything set up anywhere for clipping. So normally you do that inside of here, where you do like clip plus draw. That's so strange. Much on a Cosmic Crisp right now? Let's freaking go, dude. What is going on? I can't find any info about it. Ooh. Is it just like a weird Godot bug? Like, if I go back into the scene? Nope. That's such a strange thing. I never, like, realized it does that. Well, whatever. There's an easier way to do this. It's included in the lerping. So parallel true. Actually, I don't need to necessarily set it to true. Or no, this one I will, but when it first becomes visible, I do not need to. Yeah, it's so peculiar. I didn't know, like, that's a thing. Has it always been like that? I don't really know. Go back to the speak function. So we got modulate, visible ratio. Now we're going to do this one up to modulate. Maybe we don't go full modulate. Maybe we go 0.5. So it's less distracting. Let's see what this looks like. That's so weird that rich text labels do automatic clipping of its children. Because there's not really many nodes that do that innately. It's very strange. So that seems to work. I want like a new prompt to show up. Let's go into debug mode. Get some different ones to appear. Oh, it didn't appear because I was in a creative mode or whatever. Skip, skip. Me. I want to see if it just instantly becomes visible or not. Oh, so it's not going to do it, is it? Hold up. Let's get back to the elevator. So when I arrive, it should fade in. There we go. I think that works okay for now. Yeah, I think I've been... every time I see that, I notice it. I'm pretty sure somewhere is one word. Let's fix that, because it's... it's been irking me. Alright. Alright, so that's in. Something else I'd like to do. Apparently the sound settings get reset when you go into the game, or so I've heard. Well, I might have already fixed that, actually. I think I know what caused that. No. Okay, so that is a bug. Interesting. So you can see sound, master sound is at 10. And then if I go into the game, master sound is now at 25. So obviously there's something wrong there. Let's go into the options menu and make sure this is all proper in here. So for our sound sliders, what it should be doing is on change, we immediately set our new volume. And then on ready, we get our volume settings. I think I know what's going on. It's because I had to make another change in here, refresh. Let's copy these and move these over into these sliders. So we have refresh run once at the beginning. And that's going to say value is going to be this. And then we say the amount text is that. So that's our old one. So change value. So we want value changed. We also want, yeah, visibility that changed. And refresh at the beginning. So this one, instead of doing that, we just say refresh. Let's see if this is in line now with the other one. So change, it sets the setting and then refresh. Yeah, sets the bus volume setting, refresh. And then these ones, refresh value, which we don't need to say that anymore because we already set value and refresh. So value change is going to be connect to change. That should all be good now. Okay, hopefully that fixes that issue with the volume selects. Let's write that down. Different from what you set in the main menu. Also added hotbar inventory. Made it so dialogue no longer automatically goes away, and now you dismiss it. F. Okay. So, here, wait, let's see if our option slider thing worked. Sound, also that's showing that now, because I realized I messed up. When I set this should be a string round eye that times 100. Let's try that. There we go. Same with these guys. Alright, so we set it to 20. Let's go in game. We can see it is at 20, so yeah, that works. Just a little bit of a mismatch between the two. Alrighty. That's my fix. One other thing I want to do too is also add a FOV slider. Just because it seems like it would be a nice thing to have if people get motion sick, so... Let's copy that. This one, FOV. I don't know why I changed the size from the other ones. We'll worry about that stuff later. Then this slider is going to range from 30 to 120, I think. I always hate when people cap out FOV at 70 for some reason. It's like, why? Just let me do as much as I want. So I'm just going to copy this guy. Here, I really should just use the value slider or whatever it's called. I guess that's the same thing. Value setting slider. So let's have another variable up here for export var. Setting as a string name. So remember that one's camera sensitivity and then the other one's FOV. Okay, so camera sensitivity, set this to camera sensitivity. This one will be, oops, it's not the same one. Value setting slider. I like just having standardized scripts for this stuff. FOV, and then lastly, FPS limit. I'm gonna make it so that we can inherit from these. So setting slider. Oops, wrong script. This should be class name setting slider. Then now in this one, I'm just going to say extend setting slider. So all we have to do is now whenever we say like change or whatever, or we set our value or whatever, we can just also make sure that our stuff is set to that. So here in refresh, we're just going to call super and then say engine.set or max FPS is equal to value. And that's it. I don't know why that's a problem. Because I guess value is not an int. So we'll say round I value. Alright. So that should work there now. That is FPS slider. Yeah. And this one's good. This one's good. Volume slider can be a little different. Because it also has to have a bus passed in. Alright, so now that we have the FOV slider, I want to modify the base FOV in the player. And I'm pretty sure I am setting my camera FOV in here somewhere. Yeah, so I have target FOV. So this is where I do it. If sprinting, we're going to say it's equal to global settings.get FOV. Right? Otherwise, it's going to be that plus 10. So let's go see if that's going to work. I don't remember if I have to add... Yeah, I think I do have to add it in here initially for a default FOV, which we'll set at 80. That should be a pretty reasonable FOV. Now let's go look at this. So boom, FOV. I don't know why it started at 30, but... Why did it start at 30? Oh, I'm not actually setting the value initially? Oh no, I call refresh. This should be okay. I probably didn't set the... FOV. Should have worked. What's the range on that? That's fine. Is this because the value is initially set to 30? Let's try this again. Snooze the ad. Okay, options, FOV. All right. Hopefully that works better now. FPS limit. So let's try lowering the FOV just to see what it's like. Yeah, so that's definitely a big change. I think we can go up to 120 if we want. Because when Graham was recording the video, he like was mentioning the fisheye lens effect, and I think it's just because he must usually play at a lower FOV. Like 80. What is our zoom FOV? Oh goodness. Hopefully nobody plays at 30. That's quite bad. So I say zoom offset is 60. I'm gonna say zoom offset is gonna be target FOV divided by 2. So if our FOV is 90, the half of that should be like 45. Because if you're at a really high FOV already, the zoom doesn't need to be as pronounced. Or if you're at a low FOV, I mean. Maybe instead of 2, then we do like 1.5. That feels pretty good. So if I'm up at like normal 90 FOV, yeah. Then if we're at insane FOV. Alrighty. Yeah, I feel like 80 is a decent FOV. If he was thinking it seemed like fisheye vibe. 30 FOV challenge run, that would suck, dude. Ugh. This would make me feel so sick. Playing like this, dude. Ugh, it's already making me feel nasty. I know 70 is usually a default, but I don't know, it feels a little low. I always play 90. That's my vibe. I feel like it's just like the perfect amount. Where like I can still see everything around me and it doesn't make me feel motion sick. And you can get like the really high FOV, and that's like Quake Pro. This is actually, I'm pretty sure, the same FOV as Quake Pro. Yeah, 80 to 90 I think is where it's at. I'll start it off at 80. because I feel like that's a good middle ground, and then people can tweak it from there. So, oh, I realized F is the flashlight button, by the way. But we can't do F as our dialogue prompt. We have to think about what buttons for that. So my mouse is low on energy. You guys probably saw that notification. Let's plug it in. Yeah, spacebar would be nice since there is no jump in the game, so we might as well use that keybind for something. Let's do that. I don't think I ever will add jumping into the game, probably, because it's gonna like change it significantly. It would mean that you could jump up on objects and stuff, and I just don't know if that's the vibe I want for this, you know? I don't know. Should I do spatial caps like that? Yeah, sure. So this should work now. We got an ad coming in 50 seconds, guys. My apologies. Yeah, I want to implement just a little basic tutorial for some basic keybinds, so that when somebody brand new jumps into this, they kind of like, you know what's going on. There's only really a couple to learn. It's E to pick up and interact, Q to drop, Control to crouch and sneak, F for flashlight, and that's basically everything. And WASD, but do I even bother explaining WASD? I don't think you need to know what WASD is unless you're like 90. Everybody knows how to use WASD, right? I think it's fine. We don't need to. So we got an ad starting now. Yeah, I think I'll probably put like one initial item in here just so that you can like experiment with picking things up. That would be a good idea. Do it! You would never! Debug mode, gotcha. I've seen enough I Made My Wife Play X game videos to know that WASD is necessary. Yeah, I mean, I can just throw it in. People will just instantly press it, so it'll only take a split second. That'll be fine. Get over here, guy. Yes, sir. Alright, next thing for player feedback is I would like to add in a stamina bar. Because it's not fair, guys. Why do I have to leave you in the dark? These are mostly just things I'm doing because Graham suggests them, and I think it's a good idea. I think I'm more okay moving away from like the no UI vibe. I mean, it's neat and all, but you know, I think it's time. So we can just set that one to expand. Now we can change our progress bar. Don't show percentage. And then container sizing wise, do shrink center. Now let's see. Actually, what I could do is just this. Get rid of the separator. Add in a margin container for the progress bar like that. Make that expand. And now to control the size of the stamina bar and position, I can just modify my margins. It's like 20 on the left, 160, 400, 300, 200 on the right. I can make it pretty minimal. It doesn't have to be like... Probably put it there. You know, I'll probably only make it show up if your stamina is recharging. So... Now let's add a little texture rect in here. So this needs to be in an H box. Texture rect goes there. And we'll have some kind of icon like this to indicate stamina. Like so. So let's go draw a stamina icon. Can't remember what size I'm doing for all the like UI icons. Let's go look. That one's 128. Let's do that. Could always like lower the resolution of these one day if I want, but I don't want to have to up them. Okay, energy. Worst energy icon ever created. Now, you know what? Because I'm epic and cool, we're gonna go get an epic icon. Stamina. Energy. Come on. I know it's here. Here it is. Isn't there like there's probably one that's solid, right? Oh yeah, fill. There we go. Size will be 128. Download as a PNG. Also, add is over, by the way. Apologies. Bolt. Icon. Energy. And we're going to put that into... wherever the frick icons is. Oh, we don't have that. Whatever, it'll just sit in sprites. So now we swap this out with energy. Like that. Let's make it much smaller. Let's make this shrink center. Then we can manually define the size like that. Boom. We got the progress bar, so maximum value is our full stamina. And we do not need a percentage. Alrighty. So now, I'm just gonna say, here, let's, I'm gonna create a static reference. Progress bar. Boom. Stamina bar. I don't remember where that other part was, but it's probably okay. So I'm gonna lerp this toward int whether stamina is less than max stamina. Or really float. You'll see what that means. Oops. Okay, next thing is stamina bar dot value is equal to stamina. And stamina max value is equal to max stamina. Again, not the most optimized way to do this, but you know what? I don't think it matters. It's just setting one variable. If it is a problem, then I'll fix it another time. Okay, so you can see it lerps down towards 0, and then as I start sprinting, that's when it becomes visible again. So I'm sprinting, boom, out of stamina, and now you can see a recharge. I think the issues with stamina really isn't the the amount that you have or the speed it recharges. I think it's just the fact that you don't know where it's at, right? So hopefully this should work. Also, this step value seems to be not enough. Let's try 001. And last thing, the stamina icon is not going away. So I'll just also do this. Screw it. Well, I'm going to do that anyways. Might as well just do this. Good enough. Try this again. Yeah, we can keep the UI pretty minimal without having to, like... Yeah, we can make it not distracting. I think the key to that really is just going to be only showing what's actually relevant at any given moment. So, like, if you're at full stamina, it's just not going to show the stamina bar. Because why would we bother doing that, you know? It's just going to be a lot of stuff like that, I think. So, what's wrong? Let's try this. Oh, we have to fix... Hold on, we have to go back in. There we go. Yeah, I think it's just good to show the stamina. You do actually have quite a lot of stamina in this game, honestly. Now that you can also see that, I'm gonna decrease the breathing. Or add that to the power of 4. I'm gonna up that to like the power of 8. And what that'll do is make it so you don't breathe as much until you're right at the very end of your stamina. Just so it's not so annoying. So you're not breathing constantly. I think that'll work. Couple of other things that I would like to do. First off, go back up to auto stamina. Wherever it is. I want to actually change the amount that we do lerp up to, right? So we're gonna have our stamina alpha by default is 0. And then if that case, we say stamina alpha is up to 0.5. So you don't necessarily have to show this at full opacity. I think it's kind of distracting that way. You just need a little bit of an indication. So I think if we do this, it'll be okay. So now it just shows it a little bit down there, but it's not like overly distracting. Could even make it like thinner if I wanted to, but I think it's fine. Maybe a little bit. I really don't want it to be very large. Decrease the size of the icon. 24 maybe. That's pretty good. Okay. What else do we want to do here? Another thing too that Grambles had a problem with is full screen button. Probably a good idea. Also, especially for a horror game, it's probably a good idea to start the game in full screen. So let's go do that. I think it's in like window. When we say a mode is full screen. When we say exclusive, no, regular full screen. And now we add a full screen button. Oh, is it always going to start like this then? Okay. And I should make sure I'm kind of balancing the UI size and stuff for full screen, so... Which I think it looks pretty good here. Let's see here. Had the debug mode be windowed? Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to be the play. What I'll do is make it windowed initially, and then at the beginning of the game, if you don't have that setting set, it automatically makes it full screen. So we can go into global and say window mode. And we're going to say, what is it? It's like render server, rendering server. Dot window. I guess it's not that one. It must be window then. No, what is it? Viewport? What? I thought it was like window set mode. Is it input? Hold on, guys. Let's go look at what I do for alert in, because I actually have a button in there. I thought I did. Oh, display server, duh, not rendering server. Yeah. Thank you. So we're going to say window mode full screen by default. And now we can grab that window mode at the beginning of the game launching. So over and ready. So we say... yeah, let's say set window mode, or... Nah, it should be okay. It's window set mode. And then we'll do whatever our settings are to get window mode. Okay. And then now we need to have an option to change that. So let's go into our options menu. Okay. Call this window mode. And then we're going to change this away from a slider into a drop down, which is an option button. So we don't need that amount thing over there. I think that's called a menu button, right? Not a menu button. Option button. So change this to say, yeah, window mode is good. And add some items and we'll get rid of the script. This will be windowed and full screen. Then we'll set that at the beginning. Let's just give this one a special script. So let's go copy basically everything that we did from the other slider. This one, boom. Put in here, call this a setting option button. So we can specify our setting, do basically the same stuff. Now instead of change, what we want to do is item selected. Replace change with item selected. Oh, I'll say selected. Like that. This will extend option button. So now we say selected value. We don't set that anymore. What is selected? Is that another variable in here? It is. Change this to onSelected. So onSelected is going to be global settings.get. That by default will be 1, which is full screen. 100 making some big change to Deadlift. Yeah, we are doing a bunch of stuff. No more plates. The food eating screen is different. Rovers are temporarily gone, but they'll come back one day once I figure out how I want to do it exactly. So yeah, big things going on. And then on selected, what is this going to return? Item selected gives an index. Okay. Oops, that was okay before. But now for onSelected, we're going to say we set the setting. I guess we don't actually have to do that. Or no, we do want to do that. Oh, index, then we'll just say... I guess I don't even really need to use the index. No, I do, because I'm going to set it to that. So we'll set setting with our index. Refresh. Okay, I think this should all work. So here's what happens. We refresh, which sets our selected to our global setting, which is good. And then on item selected, we say on selected down here. So that'll be set it to, I guess we set that one to 1 right there. Do you even need to set that? I guess it's fine. Okay, hopefully this all works. We'll find out. And this is going to be set to window mode. Now I'm going to copy all this, inherit from it, call this full screen button. And then we say function on selected, index, all super. Right there. So I set the setting, I call refresh. And then I just want to say display server dot window set mode to whatever we have set. Selected. So now up in global. When refresh, just set it back to the global. But it should be setting it to the... So it calls refresh at the beginning. Yeah, it's going to be setting it to whatever value we have saved inside of our settings. That's what's going on there. So... yeah, that's what we want. Never sound selected. Yeah, should all be good. I mean, I guess technically we don't need to do refresh at the beginning because it's going to say on selected, which passes in the 1 index and sets that, and then calls refresh to selected. So that's fine. We can do that. Yeah. But that should be fine. Why is Ace Man in the scene tree? What do you mean? Where? Yo, Adagon, thank you for the hydrate. What's going on? How's it going? Check stream. Oh. Yeah, that's quite odd. I guess it's because they're in a call right now, and for some reason it's showing me a Discord overlay. I don't see that, though. Where's that coming from? Oh. It's that. Get rid of that. No, you guys are good. I had a little browser source thing, I think, from a long time ago with, like, a streaming thing where it would, like, show me the current icons of the call or whatever. It's really weird though that it's showing that I'm not even in the call. That seems kind of broken. But secret VC, yeah. Okay. And then final thing here, we just say, oops, this is a regular option button. Yeah, we say window set mode selected. So what is that mode? So 0, I think, is windowed. What is windowed? I need to know what these values actually are. Windowed is 0, full screen is 3. So I'm gonna change down in here this index for full screen to be 3. And hopefully this all works. Let's see what happens. Not happy. It's because window mode doesn't exist, apparently. Oh, I don't need to call this anymore. What? Window mode, it's right there. Oh, I guess that's because the first time that I load in, it's not going to have the settings variable. So I do actually have to go back in here. Yeah, that's set to 1 by default. Should be okay now. Let's try it again. Finally made my slime catching be able to be added to multiple streams. Let's go. Nice. He says right there, embedded window only supports windowed mode. So rub me with ramen. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, so theoretically it should be set to full screen mode. It's just not set to full screen mode right now. But if I unembed the game, I think it should work. Let's try it out. It's loading up. Still need to figure out why there's such a long load time initially. I don't know. Oh, something's not good. Affine invert. What? Okay. Yeah. That's really weird. It's like it's setting my window size to nothing or something. I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay, so it's fine this time. So we're in the game. We should be able to set this to full screen then. Boom. And when I set to full screen, it just doesn't work. That does not make any gosh darn sense. I'm gonna print what selected is. Maybe it's actually passing in a different value. It's passing in 1. That's what's happening. Which is minimized mode. Yeah, I think the way I'm doing this is stupid, so we're not going to do this anymore. So I'm going to say if index is equal to 1. Or I'll just do a match statement, whatever. This will be a little more reliable. So this is going to be window mode windowed. And this is going to be window mode full screen. And then we do the same thing over where we save it. Because, yeah, that's a problem. Okay, I guess we save whatever is selected. Which is fine. And we set this to selected, but depending on the index that we get, that's how we figure out this. So everything should be okay. Let's try this again. There we go. So it starts full screen now. I hate when they're, yeah, C++ error and give no indication what part of the project is causing them. I hate those too. Sometimes the error reporting on Godot is pretty silly. I should be able to change this in game. Let me make sure. Seems to be working well. Okay, so we start windowed. I just want to make sure that like exiting out of the game and stuff is gonna make this work. Oh, that's fun. So I set it to windowed in game and then I click play. So it's windowed. And then I go to main menu. And it's full screen. Thank you for the hydrate. We gotta figure that out. Oh, that's because I'm stupid. I shouldn't say on selected 1. I need to say global get settings. That's why it's doing that. I do that everywhere else, right? Okay, I just changed that to whatever the value is. Since I say refresh first, that's what's going on here. So actually, this does make a whole lot of sense. So I do want to set refresh here first. Yeah. Okay, let's try this again, guys. So we start full screen, options full screen, we can go to windowed mode. I should be able to go in-game now, it's still windowed. If I set it, keep it on windowed, go back to main menu, should still be windowed. We're good. Now if I go windowed and exit out of the game, it should have saved that state. Then if I load it back up, yeah, looks like we're good. So now if I go full screen and quit and then load it back up, it should stay full screen. Actually, I don't know if I gave it enough time to save my data. Okay, no, we're good. Yeah, I still don't know why it takes so long to load. It's a little quirky, but it's fine. All right. I think we're gaming now. Cool. All right, guys. Things are coming along. Got the hotbar slots. Which I might even decrease the outfit transparency of those a little more. We're going to go ahead and set this back to embedded now. Let's go to the player, and one thing I'd like to do is for set hotbar. Let's set the modulator a little lower there. And I'm just going to cycle through all the hotbars at the beginning. So, for I in range 3, set hotbar I, and then set it back to 0. Just so we can kind of go through, initiate them, and then everything should be good. I know it seems like an odd thing to add, but it'll work. There we go. Yeah, so now the transparency on those is pretty minimal when you're not actually using them. So give blueberries, which I think I kind of like. It, like, highlights your most important item, the one that you're holding. So yeah, I think that's good. You can do some crazy physics stuff. You get like an item hooked behind and then just keep walking. Oh, it just phased through a certain point. Okay. Alrighty. Another thing I would like to eventually start working on too, in addition, is like a little bit of a tutorial. I'm trying to think of the format I want to do for that. I don't want it to be super long, obviously. It should be very short. We're just talking like a couple keybinds, you know. Like press WASD and flashlight button, you know, stuff like that. So I might just have a little list on the left. And also like pick up item, throw item, crouch. Just make a readme.txt. I don't know. It'd be a little annoying. Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of this game is learning, so like I don't really want to explain everything away. But I think at least just, you know, I think at a bare minimum we should tell people how to move around and stuff and buttons to press to activate their equipment, because that's kind of, I think, pretty necessary. Your flashlight's actually quite important since, you know, we got true dark down here. It's not just... I decided just to do away with the base lighting level, because I was just thinking, like, why even bother with that? Oh, hello, sir. You're a funny guy. Ouch. Oh yeah, my stamina's super low now that I'm hurt. Would like to visually represent that somehow. Oh god. This is an insane spawn. Assignable controls fix that. I mean, that's true, but I think it'd be nice to have a little menu, or just a little like list of keybinds or something. Just I'm thinking kind of like a checkbox. Like it shows a list on the left side of the screen, and then if you check off all the keybinds it's telling you, then you're fine. This is insane. Okay, we got to do a little bit of balancing with stuff like that. I want to make sure that Ares doesn't spawn right outside of the elevator, because I know you had that same thing happen to you, Oshik. And it definitely makes things hard. So we're going to try and avoid that. We could add rocks in the grass for the player to play around with. Yeah, I'm thinking something like that. Oh yeah, that'd be cool if you need to like move the box to get through. So... Flashlight being F is quite intuitive. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pretty obvious, but I just want to make sure that people... I think it's less so... It's not like a particularly difficult keybind to know, but it's more so just the fact that you have a flashlight. I need to get that information across to the player. So... Living invisible tutorials, yeah. Yeah, Q for throw. We'll definitely also be adding that in. It's stuff like that. I just want to make sure everybody knows all the controls, because otherwise it's kind of a bruh moment. So let's draft up some potential ideas. Click for throw would be nice. I could also do click for throw. Either would probably be okay. I like Q just because I'm very used to Q being like the drop icon. But yeah. Mouse is currently just for looking. Yeah, that's true. So let's say that this is our... Well, let's do this better, I guess. Here, let's just go ahead and resize to the screen window. So let's say this is our UI, right? We're playing the game. Here's where our hotbars are. Why is it? Oh, there we go. So I think we have a few options on where to put stuff. I'm thinking just a ultra basic, out of the way, not too distracting kind of thing. Where over here it just has a list of like, you know, controls. And then just some check boxes. And then a thing of the control. And that's probably all we really need. I don't want to go too crazy with it. So just like that, and then when a player does all of those things, it gets checked off, right? And then it goes away forever. And I'll add in like the items around on the ground just to give you the opportunity to pick them up with E. Or maybe the crate in the way. And then the other things will just be like flashlight. This will be WASD. Flashlight. Pick up item, drop item. So. Yeah, clearing out the entrance tutorial is a great idea. I do think that's a pretty good idea. So we could do that. Alright, so all we're really gonna do... let's just add another margin here. It's gonna be on left wide. So having Q to throw a small text when you're holding an item would be useful. We could also do that, like on the bottom right, maybe it shows a keybind, like kind of how we have closed dialogue. We could just say throw Q. It's definitely a possibility. So let's add a rich text label now. Bit content. Do not do any wrapping. So now we can just do stuff like this. E to interact / pickup. Q to row. F for flashlight. I don't have to say 2. We could put those in brackets as well. That's going to be our scheme. We already have that sort of set up with the interaction thing anyway, so. I'll have to paraspect, yeah. But something like this, so it just shows a list of the different keybinds. And then once you complete all these, then you're good to go. I think there's only really one more, which is just control crouch / hide. So we WASD control E, Q, F. I think that's everything. And later down the line, we'll obviously do rebindable keys as well. But, you know, that's kind of a later on thing. I want to think of a good system for that before we attempt it, so. I'd like to do some different spacing here. I don't know if there's, like, line spacing with the rich text label. I thought there was. Spacing. Glyph spacing. It's really line spacing. Here we go. Extra spacing at the bottom of the line. So we can say bottom spacing equals a certain number. Let's see if that works. Does not work. Bottom spacing, or BT. Can I just say BT like that? Or do I also have to say /BT? Nope. That doesn't seem to be working. Oh, those are font options, I realize. Okay. So we can go into theme overrides. Not fonts, but like font sizes or something. Colors, constants. Here we go, line separation. Paragraph separation, there we go. Let's do 10. Boom. Also, make this one ignore. And then for spacing of this, we're going to go to layout. It's already set to fill. We just need to set vertical alignment to center, like that. So I think we'll just start checking all these off as you do them. Probably be the easiest way to do it. But I don't want to have a different thing for every single... I'll have to think about how we want to do this. We could do like... Let's think here. Thinking how we want to do this. I can have each string be a separate thing, and then if it's complete, we just mark it off. I guess that'll be the play. Okay. Controls the menu. Eventually we'll have a rebindable control menu, but not yet. I just want to think of a good way to structure that, kind of, in the code-wise. So, I did it for Starground before, and it technically works, but I don't know. I want it to be good. Okay, so let's just go into, not the player, but the world. Or actually, it is UI instead of the player, so that's fine. We'll do it in here. So I want to say on pickup item. We'll go ahead and say finish tutorial. I'll say finish task. Pickup. Then in here we say function finish task. I don't know why I keep typing everything stupid. Or a task. Oops. Task ID is a string. Hold on, guys, go. Always around this time of the day, the heat just builds up in my room and it becomes unbearable. All right. And then I think I'll just do this, var tutorial or task list, because we could potentially use this in the future for other stuff. We probably won't, but you never know. So we just have all the things in a list, and then the string according to what it is. So this will be interact / pickup. And we'll just keep doing all these. Sort of like the one I already had set up in here. Move, crouch, interact, throw, flashlight. So was to move, control, crouch slash hide, interact, pick up, Q to throw, and lastly F4, flashlight. So now what we can do in here is say for finish task, we say var tasks finished. I guess that's all we really have to do. No, we'll do that. Let's say tasks finished dot push back task ID. Let's say if we don't already have it. Okay. And every time we do finish a task, we'll also update the rich text label. So now we're going to say let's just do text. No, let's do append. Center it. And just say controls. And then now for I in task list, we say var string is equal to, yeah, string is equal to task list dot get I. And then if we say if tasks finished dot has I, we do a strike through. Otherwise we do that. Excuse me, gamers. So there is a convenient thing for a strike through, I'm pretty sure. Trying to remember what it is though. Is it just ST? It's just S. Steven, thank you very much. So hopefully this should work. It'll make it crossed off instead. Refresh it each time. So at the beginning, we're just going to say finish task with an empty string. Now watch this, guys. You won't believe it. We haven't added in all the inputs to check for finish task, but that's okay. I just want to make sure this appears and stuff and somewhat works. Okay, so that's... Let's go fix that. So, in order to fix that, we're just going to say... append text, new line. I should fix that. And then let's just add in all the other keys. So we have flashlight. We say finish task, flashlight. If I do action crouch, I'm going to say finish task, crouch. If input is not equal to 0, I'm going to say finish task move. What else do we have? Throw. Oops. Which is going to happen in drop item. Throw. Also have flashlight. throw, crouch, interact. I think that's mainly everything, right? Then eat, interact, throw, flashlight. Yeah, that should be everything. Okay. So let's see if this system works at all. Game is loading. Don't know why it takes so long. I think it's because certain scenes I'm preloading way ahead of time. Okay, so WASD for move worked. Crouch works. Flashlight works. Yeah, so we definitely need some kind of item in here that we can actually throw around. Because as it is now... Also, controls at the beginning needs a... thing. A new line. And that strike through is extremely thin. I don't know if that's something that we can modify. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to. Let me see if this is something that people have talked about. Nope. Okay, it has a default color. That might be something that we can change inside of here. Strike through alpha. Maybe make the text yellow quest color. We could do that. Line separation, shadow. Okay, let's just do it in here and see if I can get it to work. Make everything strike through. Outline size has nothing to do with it. There is strike through alpha, which does definitely help. I still wish I could change it. Fonts. Text highlight. Outline size, shadow offsets. Line separation. Yeah, maybe we could do that instead of the theme. I mean, it should show me everything in there. The only other thing I can think of is inside of the font itself. So this is, what is this font? Braille Sans Regular. So we can go in here. Hinting. It's really all just like for... really nothing in here. Oh, unless it has a symbol that like is a strike through. I don't know if that's how that works or not though. I feel like there's got to be something to do that. Maybe if we get a theme here, we can say like set strike through, style box, color, constant, font. Is there anything in here about strike throughs? Nope. Yeah, I don't really know that if this is something that can be done. I guess our only other option is to make a custom effect. But it doesn't really do what I want. That's fine. I think upping the alpha definitely helps a lot with making it more visible, so. And if we also make the text yellow, like you're saying, I think the contrast of the white would make a big difference. So, if it is white, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what it looks like. I mean, we have other options too. I could just make it so when it's striked through, it turns gray. And that would work well also. No, because that also changes the color of the outline or the strike through. That's fine. Let's do let's keep it white. And then when it's finished, it turns gray. So it's more obvious like which one you're on or whatever. Alright, these things have to be like in the proper order. Nesting sequence. Okay. I think that works pretty well. And then we just need to throw in some rocks. And that should be it. So I could make those a 3D item. I'm not sure. What's that add? I have done some bad stuff though, where like get water, that's all fine. Specifically with 2D item, like day and target. I mean, that stuff should be okay. That's just for the food, and those are always going to be 2D. I think it should be okay then. Anywhere where it's just a general item, I usually just say item. Let's search for item whole words. And match case. Because like held item is just an item. And then I pass in the proper ID for create item. I think it'll be okay. The only thing though is it does not have, when I pick up an item on the player, there's not going to be a sprite for a 3D item. But I suppose I could just draw one. So I'll probably make a couple just 2D rocks laying around. And then also do like a 3D crate that's actually blocking your way. It got really cold in my room. Let's be specific amount I open my window. Okay. Let's draw a rock. I think all the items are 50 by 50. Rock time. Yes. I've been using the Starground palette. Palette, though, I feel like doesn't really matter as much for this since it's more like, I don't know, 3D, so the lighting's going to change the color anyways. Looks like a rock to me, guys. Let's see. Good enough. And then we just outline it. Although that's a pretty big rock. I think I'm going to decrease the size of this rock. Nope. Supposed to be more like a pebble than a massive big stone, right? But I might actually just keep this as a regular resource in the game. I've been wanting to do some kind of like stone resource, I think, so I might just keep it like this actually. Oh, actually items in this game don't have an outline, so I always forget. Yeah, this definitely is not a pebble, but that's fine. I kind of don't want it to be. Let's do a little bit more shading around here. Could make this rock a little more angular. Now that it's larger, it probably makes sense. Rock. Let's see. Like that. Maybe I will. I don't want to try super hard with this sprite. I think most of the icons and stuff we have anyways right now are going to be temporary, so... Look at that rock. PG, rock. Okay. Let's go into the items table. The only bad thing is if I add rock, now it's going to randomly spawn in the maze. Which is fine. Oh, I didn't actually save rock, I guess. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, we got a freaking rock, guys. So we'll just scatter a couple of these around the beginning. I think it's a good diegetic way to learn the picking up mechanics, so just add a couple item 2Ds. Yeah, maybe we could use it to stun guys. That would be cool. I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. Because then it's like, it's a nice resource to bring in with the player at the beginning, right? We're just going to duplicate a bunch of these. We'll do 6 rocks. All right, that should be plenty. Let's see what this looks like. Null instance, huh? MG item rock. Oh. Am I still using MG for those? Oh, I am. I don't know why it's not working. Valid sound property key texture, the value type level on a base object of type null instance. So for some reason it's not getting the sprite right here. Somehow. Get node or null sprite. That's because the way I added these into the scene are not right. Okay. Awesome. Let's try this again. Should be okay just spawning them at 0. Now I can actually see where they are. They'll update their texture once I spawn these around and stuff. Maybe 2 rocks off to the right there. That's probably plenty of rocks. Let's try this again. I've been wanting a couple items anyways to spawn on the surface. Gotta give people a chance to, like, look around and grab a few things and get familiar with the whole item mechanic, so yeah. Still gotta figure out those load time things. I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, so now there's all these rocks. Cool. I think it's pretty noticeable. Like, you're gonna be walking and be like, what is that? And go up to it, you know? And that also handles the throw requirement. Yeah, I think we'll make it so if you throw a rock at an entity, it stuns them for a minute. Oh, we got the flashlight. Crouching. Cool. So once we finish all the controls, I want that list to go away. So we're gonna go to set task or whatever, finish task. And then I'm gonna say if tasks finished dot size is greater than or equal to. Or no, I can't do that actually. That's okay. Actually, I can if I just make sure it's inside a task list. I think that's okay. We'll say if task list has task ID. That's gonna check if yeah, the key. And we'll add that in. So now at the end I can just say if tasks finish dot size is greater than or equal to task list dot size, then we know that we're finished. And we say var a tween. Let's call it a task tween. Let's type tween. You can say task tween is equal to create tween. Tween property. This guy. Modulate A, fade to 0 over the course of 1 second. Okay. Let's see if this works. WASD, crouch, flashlight, interact, row, boom, now controls go away. So I think that's good, just as a little tiny aid to the player to be like, hey, here's the controls, gives them just a couple seconds to mess around and learn them, and then you're good. That's, I think, one of the most important things. And then most of the player goals can kind of come in the form of, like, their dialogue. So added rocks. Mini tutorial. It seems like most people eventually figure out that you can press the descend button. There's a couple people that, you know, it doesn't seem to happen. I'm wondering, though, how I could highlight the importance of that button more. Just trying to think about it. If I could, like, really be like, hey, press this button. You know? I don't know. What else would we do here for that? Also, I need to make that go away. The light switch thing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pretty obvious, but you know, I don't want to leave anything too, I mean, people will figure it out eventually. It is glowing green. It's probably okay. I'll probably keep it where it's at, but if I see more people run into that same issue where they don't realize they can press this button, then we can, you know, change it. What I'm actually thinking about possibly doing, I found this neat shader. I was just looking around. There's a couple shaders I'd like to add here. There's this highlight shader. And I think immediately as a player, this is a really good way to like tell a player, hey, this thing you can interact with. So considering doing that. Then there's also this guy, just a little outline shader that I'd like to add onto interactable objects. So that like when you're hovering over this guy, for example, it actually works. So let's go on to, we could just go to interactable and on ready. And say if mesh, then we add the shader on. So, for example, let's go in a world. Floating arrows that point at it. Something like that could be okay. I'd like to keep everything real, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to do any phantom arrows that come from nowhere, but it's a possibility. So I just want to do surface material overrides. So let's go to interactable. So what happens if I get one that it doesn't have? Oh, I guess we do get surface override material count. And now we say get override material I. And we say mat dot, and I think we can say next pass or something. Where is next pass? Yeah, there it is. We say mat dot next pass is equal to preload highlight. So we'll do that. Interact or whatever. So let's go create that shader. Let's just do it in here. New shader material. Shader material. Call this highlight. Well, this isn't highlight. This is more, or it'll be okay. So now let's save this shader as, oh, I have to make it unique first, I guess. I'll just call it outline shader. Go to materials, outline, boom. Now inside of our preload, I want to get the outline shader. And that should happen for every interactable object. So I have no idea if this is going to work, but I just want to open this up and see what happens. Send an elevator button at 3 AM. It's like big floating cartoon arrows, lights and stuff. Yeah. We'll see. Okay, that does work for the outline, but obviously it's a little goofy. But at least this is a good way to indicate, hey, this is an interactable object, right? And it's only going to show up when you're hovering over it. So there's a couple more changes we have to make. First off, the color. We're going to make it like that and really decrease the thickness, right? Like that. So that's only going to show up when you're actually hovering over it. But that should help. I don't know why these things... Oh, it's because they don't have a mesh assigned. So that's something that we're going to have to do everywhere. This, we have a mesh. Let's just say mesh on that. Apparently that's not a valid object. It does not have a mesh. And inside of here, I want to reset those. Okay, that's good. Let's restart this, go back in here. So the thing with this is it's gonna have to be local to scene, because we're gonna be changing these parameters separately. So let's go into here, add another parameter, which is gonna be simple uniform bool on equal to false by default. So all we do is just say if on, then set the color. And I think that's it. Let's see what that looks like. I'll have to do it separately for the way the 2D item works, because it doesn't have any materials, obviously, so we'll have to do like a different kind of shader for that, I imagine. It seems that on is not working. I think what I need to do is if on, or if not on, then albedo. We could just say thickness is 0. Oh, but that's uniform, never mind. So just only do that if it's on. Let's see if that works. I don't know if it's gonna work. Come on. Yeah, that looks good, and then you can see as when I turn it on, it gets big and with the color and stuff, so I think that works pretty well. I don't know why the color changed, though. If on, beta is equal to color. Maybe we just don't do that. Is there a way for me to disable the next pass or something? I don't know. I guess not really. So we have that guy on, we go to our highlight or our outline. And now we can say on, boom. So now we can control when that outline thing is visible. So going back to in here with interactable, we can have another function now that like checks if can interact, for example. So depending on what that returns. I'll just have another variable in here called var hovered. I'll probably change this to get rid of the process stuff, but actually I could just set this to be a set function. Then we say hovered is equal to value, and then if hovered, otherwise we set it to be false. So we set the next passes to that. We can have another function that's set. That's like set hover shader. Set that one to true. Let's test this last thing, and then I've got to go, unfortunately, but say for I in there. I say next pass dot on or dot set shader parameter. I think is what it is. I never can remember. Let me see. Can do next pass. I don't remember what it is. We'll try that though, I guess. And then finally, inside of the player, when we do our hovering stuff, which I think is down in physics process. This stuff. Result. So now we'll say for our last hover. Interactable. So whenever we find a valid object, right here we say last. So is item different from interactable? I guess. I'll just say last hover here. So we say if is instance valid last hover. We say if last hover. Then I want to say last hover dot hovered is false. Otherwise you set it here. And then say hovered is true. If can interact. Yeah, we should do this. Last hover is that. Results dot hovered is true. Then here we say back to null. Hopefully this works. I don't know what's going to happen. There is a material overlay, but the thing is sometimes I use that for different... like I've used it for some of the... Like the robot, for example. I mean, I guess it should be fine probably to use the overlay material. Might just be the best way to do it, but I'll look into that. I just had to think about what's going to make the most sense. Look at that. Okay, it doesn't get rid of the hover, unfortunately. And it died. Because I didn't check if mesh. Okay, final thing really quick. We are setting that to be false. So it's strange. I guess we only want to do this if... No, that's fine. Alright, because we only do that if we found a thing. So let's just go down here. If we have not found a valid result, then that's when we run this. Okay, hopefully this will work. Okay, let's hurry and test it. It's the final thing. Come on. Load. Check it. Nope, doesn't work. Okay, well, I'll work on that another time. But we're getting there. I just want to make it so when you hover over things you can interact with, it actually, you know, does the stuff. And apparently... instance. And this is at the function hovered setter. If mesh. Should be working. Not sure what's going on there. Anyways, guys, it's gonna be it for today. Thank you for coming to this stream. Got a bunch of new things added, which will be cool. I think the experience of playing this new version is gonna be far superior. Because now you guys will actually know what you're doing. So the next thing now, from this point, is we're gonna be like really focusing on just more building up on more systems, consumable items. And by consumable, I don't mean food necessarily. We will do more food, but I think the bigger thing is going to be like, for example, stuff like the rock, just like different tools at your disposal, right? So I think it'll be pretty cool. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's stream. Thank you for coming in. Feel free to grab Starground on Steam. Feel free to join the Discord, and we'll be live again tomorrow at around 3:30 MST. Yeah, we're gonna go raid Ryan. He's doing some epic pixel art right now. Yeah, thank you, gamers. I really appreciate it. And let me know. I'll be putting this update out, so, you know, let me know how things go after I put the update out. Yeah. Thank you, gamers. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.